you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Pamela Kumojini. I work as a Senior Disaster Management Officer in the Department for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Management in the Prime Minister's Office, the Republic of Uganda.
Thank you very much, Pamela, for willing to talk to ADN. So do you believe it is possible to achieve the first two global targets of the Sendai Framework for disaster risk reduction by 2030? The first global target is to reduce disaster mortality, and the second global target is to reduce the number of people affected by disasters.
Yes, from a practitioner's point of view, I do believe it's possible because we have all the information that we need. What we still lack and what we need more of is really the commitment and the will from the front line responders, but importantly from the political leaders, because reducing mortality, reducing risk really boils down to having resources in place. And I do believe that political will and commitment is important to make sure that we have the adequate resources, to make sure that we can support communities, to make sure that we avoid and reduce the number of deaths.
I think you answered my second question, but I'll still ask the question. So in no more than 2 sentences, what in your view is the most effective way to bring about a reduction in disaster deaths?
What I would actually give as number one is we need to really strengthen early warning and early action. Having early warning information is very good, but in itself it is not sufficient if it is not backed up by early action. And of course that goes we need to go a step further to make sure that communities are aware of the risks that they are faced with, and then they are aware of the actions that they could take when those risks manifest into hazard and eventually disasters.
In your view, which type of organizations should take the lead in a country's effort to reduce disaster deaths?
Wow, that's an interesting one. One, of course, the organizations that are responsible for disaster preparedness and management in respective countries, but importantly, I would say organizations that work with communities, and these could be NGOs, these could be community-based organizations, and these could be government agencies that are in charge of community development and rural development. So to me, organizations that work closer to the people are the most important.
Are you aware of any good practices to reduce disaster deaths?
Yes, quite a number of them, but again, I would say some of the best practices I've had in my own experience are those practices that have worked to empower communities, because at the end of the day, frontline responders, some of us are trained to do the response, but we are never closer to the people. So to me, it's important to make sure that the community's capacity to identify risk, to participate in hazard mapping is strengthened, and then so practices that revolve around community-based disaster risk management, to me, would turn out to be the best practices that I've come across.
My last question is, why should we reduce disaster deaths?
Wow, we need to reduce the disaster deaths. One, it's the right thing to do. It's really a moral obligation. And I think from a policy perspective, we are charged with the responsibility of protecting people, and protecting people really should be ultimately about avoiding deaths that may arise from events or incidents that we could actually prevent.
Thank you very much, Pamela, for your time.
Thank you.